Okay, and we are now live. Let me go ahead and let everyone in. It'll just take a minute to allow the rest of the attendees to come in.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Just let me know, Crystal.
Okay, and you're able to open the meeting now.
Great. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to call this board meeting to order. May I have roll call, please?
Trustee Buelna? Trustee Buelna? He's here, so I see him.
Here.
Right. Thank you. Trustee Fong?
Here.
Trustee Hoffman?
Here.
Trustee Moreno?
Here.
Trustee Svanken?
Here.
Trustee Vela?
Here.
Trustee Vettis? Student Trustee Geronimo?
Here.
Thank you.
Great. Well, welcome everyone. On November 11th, we will be celebrating Veterans Day, a day that honors all of those who have served our country in times of war and peace. For all of our heroes that have passed and those that are with us today, we extend our appreciation and thank you for your sacrifices. In honor of Veterans Day, we're joined today by some of our LACCD veterans and students, Kirby Burke, Genevieve Cruz, and Ruben Roque. I will introduce them to you after the flag salute. Thank you for joining us today, and please lead us in the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And thank you so much for joining us today. So I am going to introduce our students one by one. I'm going to give you each an opportunity to say a few words as well. So our first student is Kirby Burke. Kirby was a psychological operations soldier in the US Army. He deployed to Afghanistan in 2011, where he conducted information warfare against the Taliban and persuaded Afghan citizens to support their newly formed government. He is currently a student at LA Mission College taking intersegmental general education transfer curriculum, the IGETC, and prerequisite courses for a bachelor's degree in computer engineering that he plans to complete at UCLA. His career interests are automation technology, smart devices, and artificial intelligence. Kirby, I would welcome you to say a few words.
Thank you very much. First, thank you for the recognition for the student veterans and for taking the time to honor veterans at large by putting on this event.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Our next student is Genevieve Cruz. Genevieve is a student at East LA College. She's majoring in administration of justice, and she's also working toward her interpreter's license in American Sign Language and hopes to obtain her addiction studies counselor certificate. Upon graduation, she plans to transfer to Cal State Dominguez Hills. She's been serving as an Army reservist since 2016 and plans to enlist next year for another 6-year contract. Her current military occupation specialty, MOS, is a financial management technician. She hopes that her decision to return to school after being away will set a good example for her soon-to-be-born son. Congratulations. She also hopes to encourage her mom to return to school, and together they will be the first generation of their family to be in college. So Genevieve, congratulations, and would you like to say a few words? Oh, you're muted. Unmute yourself. That's okay.
Awesome. Okay, I'm happy to be back in school. I did take 2 years off, but I'm happy to be back to finish, and hopefully it encourages my mom to finish too, because she's a little she doesn't feel like, because she's too old, that she doesn't need to go back to school, but I want to encourage her to go back regardless, just to finish, just so she can say she did it. And so my son can never say, oh, well, you never went to college. Well, yes, I did.
That's great. I was older when I returned to school as well. So I'm rooting for your mom. When's your baby going to be born?
Hopefully within the next 3 weeks.
Yay. Well, congratulations.
Thank
Stay
you.
healthy.
I'm trying.
I know. And our next student is Ruben Rope. Ruben enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1997. He served 2 enlistments, both with the 101st Airborne Division. He had deployments to Germany, Egypt, and Jordan. He was also deployed to combat tours in the Balkans, Middle East, and South Asia. After his military service and several years employed, he enrolled at ELAC in 2010, where he served as the first Student Veterans Club president and was one of the Veteran Resource Center's first student workers. Congratulations. He graduated with an AAT in psychology and an AA in behavioral sciences in 2014 and transferred to Cal State LA, where he also earned his master's in counseling in 2019. Ruben is currently an adjunct instructor with the ELAC Psychology Department and a program coordinator for the NSF Grant Serves program. So welcome, Ruben, and please, the floor is yours.
I just wanted to say thank you to the district for all the support that you've given all the veterans from over the years. It's just, it means a lot to us, especially coming from ELAC and watching the program grow, and then watching the program throughout the district grow within itself has just been an awesome and inspiring thing. And it just shows that, you know, given the opportunity to succeed, we'll gladly take it.
Wow. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you for being here. All right, we are now going to go on to
President Hoffman, if I can make it, I'm very curious on Ruben's background here. I think you exchanged helmets, right? Went from an issued one to one you can pick on your own.
Yes, this is the way.
This is the way. Excellent.
Ms. Hoffman,
yes.
can we, because of the fact that we have these wonderful examples of veteran students here, can we take up the resolution and just pass it now? Take it out of order. I know that's legal and everything, so that we can do it with them here. Also, I just want to note for the record, you know, I'm very proud of the work that our district does and many of our campuses. We had a veterans committee that Dr. Corner helped work with to come up with a plan to take the best that we had at every campus and replicate it. And Mr. Moreno, who's I think the only veteran on our board, helped lead that effort. So I just wanted to note that for the record and see if we could take up the resolution recognizing the veterans.
Sure, and if there are no objections, we'll take up the resolution. We'll move it up right now.
So moved.
Great, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, let's do a quick roll call.
Can we do discussion really quick?
Yeah, we will have discussion, and I also want to call for public comment. So if there's anybody that was here to sign up to make public comment on the Veterans Day resolution, please raise your blue hand so that Lupe can admit you into the speaker's room. All right, we have a motion and a second. Trustee Vella?
I just wanted to thank our students, our wonderful students, our veterans. You know, it takes a lot to just, you know, continue an education, but to come from a place where they've served our country, now they have that capability to come here with us. We welcome you with open arms. We welcome your family. If you want me to call your mom, I will call your mom. You know, as Ms. Hoffman said, I have a lot of family members that have also gone to college later, and it is, I think, one of the best things to do if you haven't done that. So I do want to also mention that the board did support legislation that ensured that our veterans receive the proper, you know, technology and the proper funds during the COVID crisis, including qualifying for year 2 of the College Promise. And thanks to our team. But again, thank you so much for your service.
Thank you, Trustee Vella. Do I have any other comments from board members?
I'd like to make a comment, Trustee or
Yes.
President. Yeah. You know, I was happy to, you know, put this on the agenda, be a part of the sponsorship here. And, you know, in my family, although I didn't serve, I had sisters and cousins and uncles, and it was all around our family. And for all of them was an opportunity after their service to go to college. and engage in a career. You know, I always laugh at my cousin always says, he was he was in the Navy and frankly was working on technology that doesn't exist outside. And but loved being around the tech world. And so, but it really did take East LA College and then USC to get him into the path that he wanted to be, because it is sometimes different, the types of jobs you do in the military. But I think the pathway that we provide is really important, and and pass the word along, because I think one of the things he did that was excellent was he was a recruiter to his friends, and that went through the process, and that we're looking for what to do next. But to be able to talk about every year having somewhere close to 3,000 veterans be part of the community college district here, it's important, and to give your feedback freely, and to make sure that we can do all the things we need to do to support you and make sure that your transition into your careers and working life is as good as it can be. I know there's a ton of discipline that you pick up on, and but certainly transitioning into career workforce is what we want to be about, and we want to support you in every way we can.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Trustee Moreno.
Just as the sole veteran on the board, being a member of the Vietnam veterans, I really appreciate the fact now that all through these many years that veterans are receiving this recognition. As I mentioned before, in the time when I was in the Vietnam War and immediately thereafter, we weren't always received the kind of openness that we are now receiving now, and we appreciate that immensely. And I too was fortunate enough to receive benefits from being in the military by having attended school on GI benefits, and of course I bought a house and did take advantage of all the benefits derived from being in the service at that time. And I think it's wonderful that we give students the opportunity to enroll and improve. I started community college. It wouldn't have been president of East LA College without having gone to a community college. So I really appreciate this effort. Thank you.
We should name a building after you.
Thank you, Trustee Moreno.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam President, and thank you to colleagues, Trustees Vettis and Hoffman, for sponsoring this resolution. Thank you to all our veterans and all our student veterans for your amazing leadership and service to our country, and thank you for everything you do to protect our lives and to protect our liberties. On a personal level, I haven't been in the military, but my uncle was a Korean War veteran and attended Polytechnic High School, which was used to be on the Trade Tech campus. And both my grandfathers were veterans in the United States Army in World War II for the US. And really their experiences here with my grandfather on my mom's side always tell me that he got to travel the world and through his experience in the military. So thank you so much to all our student veterans and to all our veterans for all your leadership and all your service to the district and to our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Fong. Do I have any members of the public wishing to make public comment on this particular resolution?
No one has raised their hand.
Okay, seeing none, so the motion and the second was actually to take the item out of order.
No, you had the right to take it out of order as chair. I made the motion to approve the resolution.
So it was moved by Trustees Fonkin and it was seconded by
me.
Okay, so now we'll have roll call.
Student Trustee Geronimo's advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Buelna.
Yes.
Trustee Fong.
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman.
Yes.
Trustee Moreno.
Yes.
Trustee Fonkin.
Yes.
Trustee Vela.
Yes.
Trustee Vettis. Trustee Vettis, he's here.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That passes. I'm glad we took that out of order, and thank you for being here on a Wednesday afternoon, and you're welcome to stay in the meeting if you'd like, and we really appreciate your service. And again, thank you for sharing today. All right, now we're going to go back. Bear with me for just 1 minute. Today, we're actually going to adjourn in the memory of two amazing former faculty members from East LA College, Mr. George Dimitri Tangalos and Mr. James Johnson. Mr. Tangalos was an adjunct math professor at ELAC for several decades. He was a favorite among the students. His classes were always among the first to fill. He will be remembered for his amazing lectures, energy, and humor. Mr. Tangalos is survived by his daughter, Danuta. We extend our deepest condolences to the family at this very difficult time. And we are also going to adjourn in the memory of ELAC theater arts professor and theater technician, Mr. James Johnson. He served the department for nearly 20 years. He was talented in every aspect of theater, and he even directed and acted in several of ELAC's productions. His students adored him. Mr. Johnson is survived by his wife, Julianne. We extend our deepest condolences to the Johnson family and to the East LA College community for the loss of their two colleagues. I would now, it's my pleasure, this is one of my favorite parts of a board meeting, to turn over the gavel to my colleague, David Vela, for a special presentation. Trustee Vela?
Thank you so much, President Hoffman. I really appreciate that. At this time, I'd like to ask for staff to put up the certificates for our wonderful LGBTQ Affairs Committee members, which I think there's a bunch, but we're gonna go ahead and list them out because they deserve that, but I'll be brief. Can we add the screen with the names, please? There we go.
Mr. Vela, yes, they'll be displayed one by one as you read them out.
Okay. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, President Hoffman, colleagues on the board. I really want to, first of all, just thank all of you and thank Chancellor Rodriguez and our cabinet for the support. We had the wonderful ability to come together, stakeholders from all sorts of walks of life and all different various levels of government, groups, nonprofits who participated for the whole year as members of the Chancellor's Advisory Committee on LGBTQIA+ affairs. And so, I thought it would have been extremely important to acknowledge their hard work. Many of these people, actually all of these people except for staff, were unpaid. They gave countless hours into ensuring we passed the first ever Bill of Rights for LGBTQIA+ students and faculty. And furthermore, to really continue the conversation as we move forward in providing services for this and all of our other underserved communities like African American and Dreamers and so on and so forth. So with that being said, I want to thank you for the participants that are here. I know that they are here. I see them in the participant screen. So if you would like, you could, just wave your hand or say, I don't know what we could do, but I just wanted to thank all of you. As I mentioned your name, please know that we are congratulating you on behalf of the whole district. So first off, I'd like to recognize Angeles Abraham. Angeles, thank you so much. Felipe Agredano, Chancellor's Advisory Committee. Thank you, Felipe, for all your help. Gloria Aguilar, thank you, Gloria, for all your help. Michael, thank you so much. Rod Armelin, thank you, Rod. I know he was part of this. Tony Aranaga, thank you, Tony. Latanya Atkins, thank you, Latanya, appreciate it. President Sahar Wan, thank you, Sahar, appreciate it. Angela Belden, thank you so much for all your help. William H. Boyer, thank you, William. Monica Castillo, thank you, Monica. Ryan Corner, thank you, Vice Chancellor Corner. Ramon Covarrubias, thank you, Ramon. Sarah Garciola Garcia, thank you so much for your help. Celia Cruz, thank you so much. Denise Diaz, thank you so much, Denise. Honorable Denise Diaz. Susie Dovlashian, thank you so much. William Ellerton Selig, thank you, Bill, for all your help. Dale L. Fields, go Pierce, thank you, Dale. Zachariah Flores, thank you, Zachariah. Lawrence B. Frank, our former Vice Chancellor, thank you so much. Rocket Garcia, thank you, Rocket, out at Mission College. Brittany Grice, thank you, Brittany, from our committee here. Grace Guerra. Jordan Hall. Deborah Harrington, thank you, Deborah. Robert W. Hendricks. Talia Huerta. Aguilar Jocelyn. Andrea Knight, thank you. Mandy Letwin. Brad Lundahl, thank you, Brad. Claudia Macias. Janet Martin. Eddie Martinez from Latino Quality Alliance. Travis Martz. Kimberly McBride, thank you, Kimberly. Jessica McCarnes, thank you. Maddie McCarthy, thank you. Heidi Medrano. Alexis Montevirgen, thank you, President Montevirgen. Don Mueller, who's now at another college, thank you. Egipcio Milo, or Milo. Deputy Chancellor Melinda A. Nish. Luis Orozco, thank you, Luis. Francisco Ortega. Tamika Osmond, thank you, Tamika. Michael Owens. Jessica Parral. Jonathan Pope Evans, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Chris Records. Francisco C. Rodriguez, oh, that's a special one. Alberto Roman, thank you, Chancellor. Thank you, Vice Chancellor Roman. Francois M. Rosero, thank you, Francois. Cynthia Ruffin, thank you. Love that name. Isabel Ruiz. Orbelina I. Ruiz. Lisa Salazar, thank you so much, Lisa. Karina Samala. Joey Skaggs, thank you, Joey, out at Mission. Stephen Simon. Elisandro Mania. David Val, thanks, you guys. Jose Velasquez. Lynn Wood, out at ELAC, thank you, Lynn. Kazumi Yamaguchi, thank you. Hoover Zariani, thank you. All right, I think we got everyone, President Hoffman. And again, if there's any other trustees, the chancellor wants to say something. Thank you all.
Congratulations and thank you everyone for serving on this committee. Chancellor, if you would like to make a few comments, please do, because this advisory committee really is the envy in the state of California. I don't know of any other district that's doing this, and our reach is far and wide. And the policy issues that you're working on are truly remarkable. So thank you, Trustee Vela. And Chancellor, I'll turn it over to you now to say a few words.
Well, thank you. And if it's the envy of the state of California, it's due to the support of this board and due to the leadership of Mr. Vela. He was very clear in his interest from the very, very beginning. And what's been constructed through the LGBTQIA plus Bill of Rights is really not just a statement of principles and opportunities for our faculty, staff, and students, and not just a statement about climate and ensuring that all of our constituents have a safe place in which to grow and to learn, but also is an environment we're going to ensure not just the safety and health and welfare of our students, faculty, and staff, but that this is a place where dreams indeed come true without impediments and without interruption and without the kinds of barriers that that our community has seen for too long. So thank you so much. Tremendous work this year. Now it's about getting to about the work as laid out in the Bill of Rights, and you have our assurance that we will do that, Mr. Vela. So thank you for your leadership, your inspiration, and your just powerful example, Mr. Vela.
Yeah, and we promise you, when it's safe to do so and we can return to in-person celebrations, we will celebrate, right? All right, thank you. We are now on number 4, approval of the agenda and the order of business. Before we move to approve the order of business for today's meeting, Chancellor, I think there are a number of changes to the agenda, so can you please go through those?
Yes, Madam Chair, there are changes to the agenda. Please note, members of the board and public, delete item E1. It's the special presentation that we had planned for today. While we have other special presentations, we have postponed this one until December, so please delete item E1 and also delete item Z1. It's the acceptance of completion of construction contract, Southgate Educational Center, a demolition project at East LA College. Please delete that. We'll bring that up at a future meeting. And last amendment here is please correct item CC13. Item CC13, it's a professional services agreement. If you could change the amount, it's the district-wide cost. It says $500,000. The correct cost for item CC13 and for this agreement is $430,450. So if you can make that adjustment, the correct number is $430,450. Okay, and Madam Chair, that is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. May I have a motion to approve the agenda and the order of business, please?
So moved.
All right, moved by Trustee. Seconded by Trustee Buelna. Roll call, please.
Student Trustee Geronimo's advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Buelna.
Yes.
Trustee Fong.
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman.
Yes.
Trustee Moreno.
Yes.
Trustee Swankin.
Yes.
Trustee Vela.
Yes.
Trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Great. We're now on the approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the August 5th, 2020 minutes, please?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Student Trustee Geronimo's advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Buelna.
Yes.
Trustee Fong.
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman.
Yes.
Trustee Moreno.
Yes.
Trustee Swankin.
Yes.
Trustee Vela.
Yes.
Trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Great. We now have reports from representatives of employee organizations. Do any members of the resource table wish to be recognized at this time? And if so, can you raise your blue hand? And hopefully I will see it. Okay. Matthew Jordan. Can we move Matthew Jordan into the?
Yes, he's coming in now.
Great. And if you're in the room as a panelist, you still need to raise your hand so that I can recognize you.
Hi, everyone. Hi. It's an anxiety-filled day as we watch the developments in the election, I think for all of us. Today's a little less stressful for me because last Thursday, I am very happy to report our unit reached a tentative agreement in contract negotiations with the district. I'd like to thank all of the members of our negotiating team and the district's negotiating team, including Acting Vice Chancellor Dr. Gutierrez. We'll be answering our members' questions about the tentative agreement in the coming weeks and holding our ratification vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jordan. Happy to have you here.
Thank you.
President Waddell. You might be on mute.
I'm unmuted, yes. Thank you, Madam Board President. Just a quick update, a quick negotiations update. We are inching toward completion. I believe there's a vote tonight on the agenda. We have signed off on our page 45 signature page, and we've already signed a side letter clarifying some language that, although we thought was really clear, people who weren't in the room when we created the language weren't so sure, so we created a side letter to clarify that language. So we're inching toward completion. As Matthew just mentioned, presidential election is also inching forward, which makes me all the more pleased that our local election last night was decisive, and that stability and civility will return to the board Zoom, and that we will continue to employ good governance that will really help our students achieve their goals. And to that point of student goals, I had the honor last night of spending time with 120 students from all over the state. Some of our students were there, but this event was students all over the state who had been working on Prop 15, not just working on Prop 15, but immersed in Prop 15. And while they didn't manifest entitlement, except for the entitlement to be engaged, their engagement in Prop 15 campaign was the perfect example of why civic engagement is such an important goal in our strategic plan. And that's a quick update. Thank you.
Thank you, President Waddell. Is there anybody else at the resource table who would like to be recognized at this time?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Angela, Academic Senate. Good to see you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Angela Echeverry with the Academic Senate. First of all, congratulations to everyone who ran yesterday, a great campaign, and I want to congratulate all the successful candidates, as well as I'm very cautiously optimistic about the outcome of the national election. So anyway, it's I think a lot of us are happy to have that election behind us. I just wanted to announce that the District Academic Senate is working on a number of very important initiatives. So first of all, we have formed a task force to explore the feasibility of having a general education requirement in ethnic studies. So we're in the process of forming that, and our Vice President Elizabeth Atonda will be in charge. She's going to be the lead on that effort. We are also working on an administrative retreat policy. So we are we have been about a year working on that. So we're close to, I think, coming to a conclusion, as well as some other important policies like our academic freedom statement. The State Academic Senate is meeting this week. So we will be meeting tomorrow, Thursday through Saturday. And so this is going to be our first virtual event. So it's very exciting to be able to come back together as a statewide Senate and learn what other colleges are doing and how they're coping with these interesting times. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. But again, thank you and congratulations to everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Echeverry. Thank you. Is there anybody else from the resource table who wishes to be heard at this time?
I guess it would be me. So
there you go. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Honorable trustees, honorable chairman. This is Suleiman, President, AFT 1521A, College Staff Guild, the Clerical Technical Unit. Just really quick, we just wanted to congratulate all the candidates in the Board of Trustee elections, and just wanted to let everyone know that we are in this together, and the classified stands strong all together to support the district in any of the needs as we go through these uncertain times. So please feel free to reach out to us. We are very happy and very proud to say that to thank the district, we came out of a very successful consultation meeting just yesterday, and we really appreciate the district's gesture to be working together with us. So we are in this together. So thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Rangel.
Good afternoon, everyone, board members, chancellor, members of your cabinet, members of the public. My name is Manny Dunhead with SEIU Local 99. Well, first of all, I just want to congratulate all of the candidates for LACCD who worked very hard on their campaign. And so, yeah, it was a great election. I know everybody's on the edge of their seat. I know I am. One of the good things about campaigning for incumbents is, you get to talk about the great things that LACCD has done, for workers and for its students. It was a great election year despite all of the craziness with the pandemic and everything. But I wanted to start off by saying that I also want to thank the chancellor and his cabinet and the district's negotiating team for sitting down and helping us, solidify some language that protects our members that are going to be stepping foot on the campuses. We represent workers in maintenance and operations, and they're going to be there in those buildings, and we want to make sure that they're there, doing what they do, right? Being the front line during the pandemic right now, but making sure that they do it in a safe way, and that we protect those that have pre-existing conditions and so forth. So just wanted to give a quick shout out to the district's negotiation team, the chancellor and this cabinet. And yeah, I mean, I'll defer to Chris. I don't know if Chris is on there, but I just wanted to take a second and say all of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Ozanne, are you able to, I know you're trying to get in. Are you able to speak? Are you able to get in through your phone?
To raise the hand over the phone, it is *9.
Okay. Ms. Ozan, do you want to do *9 and then you can speak? Okay. I think she said it's okay. She's got you. You covered it, Manny. All right. She's having a little bit of difficulty with the audio, so thank you. I think that concludes everyone from the resource table, unless I've missed anyone. I'll give it a minute. Okay. So board members, we've received the Chancellor's monthly report. Do any of the college presidents wish to comment or highlight anything that you may have not included in your report? If so, can you please raise your blue hand? Okay.
I'm bringing President Lee to the panelist room.
Okay, great, thank you.
Hi, thank you, President Hoffman. And trustees and chancellor, please accept my congratulations that you'll continue, many of you, with your tremendous leadership of our district. I wanted to report out that this morning, the Board of Registered Nursing completed their visit at Harbor College. And we have been found to be totally compliant, have exceeded the standards. And so we are approved for another 5 years. But I just wanted to highlight that the visiting team mentioned that as they went through and interviewed our students, our faculty, and the local clinics and hospitals, there was continued appreciation for what this board and the chancellor have done for our students during this time. They noted specifically all the many things that we've done in terms of help them with IT, with their basic needs, and they felt that a nursing program with its tremendous challenges, that this would be the time where it would be very difficult for nursing students, and because they are essential workers, it is critical that they succeed. And so they are going to highlight that in the report of what we've done, but I wanted to pass that on to you, President Hoffman, because of your leadership and the board for their support during this time. It is well known now, with external organizations, accreditors, and the local community. And I specifically also want to thank Deputy Chancellor Nish and Vice Chancellor Corner, because they have done tremendous amount of work to give us creative options in various programs, such as simulation software and other options that address the lack of availability of being on campus. So we're very proud, but we stand with you, and I just want to say thank you from all of us at Harbor College.
Thank you, President Lee. Thank you so much. Good work. Congratulations. Do I have any other college presidents that are wishing to speak at this time? Crystal, do you see anyone?
No, no more hands raised.
Okay, great. We're now at the public comment on agenda items only at this part of the meeting. The First Amendment and the Brown Act guarantee a member of the public the right to criticize a public employee in the performance of his or her duties. However, speakers are encouraged to focus their comments on issues relevant to the conduct of the public's business, rather than on private or unrelated matters. Are there any persons who have signed up to address the Board of Trustees on regular agenda items at this time?
Nobody has signed up, and we don't see any hand raised.
Okay. Great. Thank you. I know we have 2 public speakers that are scheduled for the end of the meeting, correct?
Yes, correct, President Hoffman.
Okay, thank you. All right, we are now on reports from the board. Trustee Vella, I'm going to call on you first. Can you please summarize the proceedings of the Legislative and Public Affairs Committee meeting that you chaired on October 21st?
Yes, thank you so much, President Hoffman. First of all, let's start with our federal topics. As you know, right now we're dead heat in a presidential election that is tied, essentially, and everything is as close as it can get. What that means for us is that until January 21st, when Congress reconvenes, will we be learning further about what types of aid will be offered up to the states. Obviously, the Democrats would like to give to local governments, including state governments, so that'll help us, and especially if the Senate and the House turn Democratic. But we'll see. I know that there's been a lot of discussion from our advocates in Washington, D.C. for us. We're looking at essentially doing several new support bills that would give us basic needs: housing, food and security, childcare and broadband, college affordability, looking at more pathways for immigrants into our colleges, workforce development, as well as other LACCD programmatic support. That's what we're looking at for next year, and ensuring that we continue to build on our successes federally. In the state, obviously there's been various bills that supported LA Community College District, including bills for housing from Senator Durazo, looking at the fund with Assemblyman Carrillo, also looking at various other pieces of legislation that will have benefited us and we will continue to introduce. Currently, our committee is looking for or has put together ideas for next year's legislative packet. So would appreciate board members in particular and stakeholders to join us at our next Public Affairs Committee. At the local level, we're working with the county to increase our peer navigator system to support student homelessness. We're working together with Shower of Hope, as well as LA Room and Board to increase opportunities for students that do not have homes. We're also working with Metro to continue to push our pilot program for students to be able to have access to free transportation. So in a nutshell, lots and lots to do. And we are really proud of all of the work. I want to thank all the advocates. I want to thank members of my committee, Vice Chair Vettis and member Mike Fong, who were extremely helpful in pushing forward many successes for LACCD, including COVID-19 block grants, federal funding for Dreamers through the CARES Act, and the list goes on and on. So really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trustee Vela. Trustee Fong, can you please summarize the proceedings of the Institutional Effectiveness and Student Success Committee meeting that you chaired on October 21st?
Thank you so much, Madam President, and good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're doing well and staying safe in these challenging times. And thank you so much to my colleagues, Trustees Vela and Trustee Buona, for a robust IESS meeting. The committee took up a few items on the last IESS meeting. We recommended the plan for the East LA College Educational Master Plan, which looks at the next 6 years, 2020 to 2026 Educational Master Plan, which is inclusive of the revised vision, mission, and strategic goals for East Los Angeles College. The plan is also aligned with our district strategic plan and includes action items to achieve measurable objectives, including certificates and workforce training programs. The committee recommended Plan 3.0 for full approval to the board. Secondly, we had a report back on student success, recent trends in degrees and certificates. The district has established a goal of 35% increase in transfer degrees and a 20% increase in degrees and certificates. Since 2015 and 2016, the number of certificates and awards by the district has increased by 10,000. We're 95% for the associate degree goal and 88% for the certificate goal, but we know we need to continue to push hard and to continue to achieve these goals and to go above 100%. And lastly, staff also presented actions for continual improvement. In the committee, we also requested additional expansion of the LA College Promise program and continued efforts to increase our four-year agreements, articulation agreements as well. So we'll continue to push hard on those efforts. We also had a report back on strategic enrollment management and planning. This has been a hot issue and very much a topic at every one of our IESS meetings. The committee was presented with the district enrollment plan and its alignment with the district strategic plan. And we're continuing to push hard on student responsive scheduling, the opportunity to re-engage opportunity adults, and really providing a strong end-to-end student experience. Also looking at the results of the LA College Promise program, dual enrollment programs and adult education that I know many colleagues are very focused on, and really looking at additional opportunities for guided pathways and year-round scheduling efforts. We also took the opportunity to engage in monitoring and look at board reporting regarding fiscal stability and around the enrollment efforts. So we'll continue to push hard and remain focused on enrollment and the impact of COVID on enrollment and the need to refrain from any cuts. And lastly, we also had a report back on foundations. The committee was presented a report back on the status of our district foundations, including membership and staffing, the amount at each foundation, scholarship awarding, fundraising, and endowments. And we're gonna continue to push hard to ask. And also we asked questions about the technology purchases for students in response to the COVID response. And we know that we need to continue to focus on providing those additional supports around technologies for our students. So thank you so much again to my colleagues for a robust meeting. And that's a report on IESS. Thank you so much, Madam President.
Thank you, Trustee Farrar. You accomplished a lot in your last meeting, so thank you. Trustee Veras, can you please summarize the proceedings of the Facilities Master Planning and Oversight Committee meeting that you chaired?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, the committee reviewed several items. The first I wanted to update the board on is staff augmentation status update. The committee, our Chief Facilities Executive provided a recap of our previous actions and to authorize funding for essentially staff augmentation for the college bond program here, and our CPT teams or college project teams and funding goes through December of 2020. At this time, the staff was recommending essentially an additional 6 months worth of funding to continue to analyze the needs of how to best manage the college project teams organization and staffing considerations. So the committee voted to recommend the authorization of $11.1 million and extend the task orders for the college project team staff through June 30th, 2020. This item's before the full board today. We also went over a few informational items. The first was a status update on the implementation of LACCD's clean energy and sustainability goals. We had an overview and recap of the resolution that was approved by the board, and essentially the different tools and concepts and next steps to begin implementation of the program. And examples of this would be partnering with, for example, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power's Green Access Program and install EV charging stations at our campuses. But there's a number of issues, including funds that have been set aside in the bond program to work on new systems and clean energy approaches. The committee also reviewed a few options for the Kinesiology, Wellness, and Athletic Center over at East LA College. Dr. Roman provided, along with the project team there, a couple of approaches to deal with future facilities there that included the Weingart Stadium and ADA issues, and understanding sort of the master plan impacts of the fields and the spaces there. The committee provided some comments, but essentially there was a preference towards option one, which will be able to make the improvements to East LA College and be able to allow the campus community to use it quickly. But in all, I guess there was something close to 12 different scenarios explored. The two best were presented and discussed at the committee. Then we also had a status update on the Academic East and West project at Los Angeles Pierce College. It was an effort to work together with the campus community to come to consensus or some level of consensus on the best approach to house future academic needs. And essentially in the end, what was proposed and what is presented to the committee was an Academic East and West building where programming efforts are going to be parallel tracked on both facilities, or both planned facilities here. So that was the highlights of the committee, and back to you, Madam President.
Thank you so much, Trustee Veras. Trustee Buelna, you had two committees. Can you summarize the proceedings of both the ITS ad hoc committee as well as the DACA task force?
Yes, Madam President. The ITS ad hoc committee probably had one of the best presentations in my 3.5 years as a trustee. I'll specifically get to why, but we went over information technology. We had an IT briefing. So the IT committee received an information security briefing overview from Patrick Luce, LACCD Information Security Officer. The specific reason that this briefing was important was is I think our security IT security team is now established at the district, and we're seeing some of the fruits of the development of again the Huron report. And as we're doing a lot of assessments on different areas, I just wanted to point this out because these assessments are important. So the briefing included a look at the overall cybersecurity threat landscape with focus on higher education. We had a deeper look into the higher education and specifically LACCD protection strategy and the incident management process that we have instituted at LACCD. And again, I'm just really glad that we do have an incident management process. Our goal is to strengthen LACCD information security posture, several projects underway, and overall plan captured in the 5-year technology plan. So that was an excellent presentation, by the way, but the presentation from the LA Southwest Nursing Simulation Lab, I think, was just absolutely awesome. So LA Southwest provides an overview of technology improvements in support of the nursing program. So there was an introduction to the simulation lab, including 4 new simulators with VR software, introduction of 4 smart mannequins. That was interesting. Debriefing stations for students, classrooms. So we went through again, with all the issues that I've been through, or that we were a few years back with Southwest. It was very, very nice and educational to learn exactly what they're doing. The only tragedy right now is that we're in the middle of COVID, so we're not able to fully benefit from the program. But a lot's going on at the college, and I think Southwest deserves a lot of credit. Everyone from staff, faculty, and administration, because it just doesn't take a faculty member to do this; it takes an entire team. So the entire team at Southwest should be saluted for representing the district well in doing this. With regard to the DACA committee, we had undocumented support events all week long and that was important. I'm looking here for the report from Ms. Velos, but we had one session where that I was present, where we had Congresswoman Lucille Roybal, and it was a teaching moment. I think he had great presentations, lots of students present, and I say the teaching moment because I think I think we learned from that event to be fully prepared with questions. Then we had another conversation where we had Chancellor Oakley, where we had Assemblywoman Carrillo, and just a lot of good participation. And I think we hit every event we hit was a home run. That one was very important, as of giving this presentation. We're still waiting for Arizona and for Nevada to come in. The reason I'm saying giving that update is that DACA will depend on what occurs in the next few hours. The occupant of the White House. That's.
Thank you.
That's it from both.
Great. Thank you, Trustee Buona. And the week culminated with an amazing fundraiser at LA Valley College for the Dream Resource Center, and Dr. Gribbins and Professor Ruby Christian Brome and the LA Valley College Foundation raised a lot of money that night. And I know you were there, Dr. Welna, and I think you were there, Trustee Fong and Trustee Vela, and we had a great time, and it was a really successful event. So it was a wonderful way to
$14,000.
Yeah, great job, great job.
Thank you.
All right, Trustee Geronimo, can you please summarize the proceedings of your Student Affairs Committee meeting?
Hello, good afternoon. First of all, let me thank you all for casting your sacred vote and for always advocating for the rights of the students. So we met last month, the students during the Student Affairs Committee, and besides meeting on that day, we also did all the other meetings, like we did a town hall, an informational town hall that inform students about their civic engagement. So one of those, that town hall was really important to us because as we know, we were trying to get people involved or know about what the propositions were, and since not more students might have known what Proposition 15 and 16 was, so we decided to do that town hall and also had presenters from in the local community, like presenters for Prop 16, and the county registrar informing about the voting sites in our campuses. It was really important because we need students to be engaged into voting. And other than that, we also have been committed in advocating for student basic needs. One of those things that we are tackling now are free or low cost textbooks. And I know there have been some things going on, and but I don't know when it will happen. So other than that, we also have been meeting for our next town hall that we will have. We will be on student basic needs, and we are inviting speakers to speak and to inform the students where they can apply if there is any scholarship available to them, scholarships or other basic needs that they can apply for during this semester or the next semester. That's why it is very important to us. And it will take place on, we have planned to have it on November the 20th. We are also meeting next week, I believe, on November the 12th. We are going to, let me see if I can open my, okay, so we have the LAPD, we're meeting with LAPD. As student leaders, we are trying to discuss on pursuing racial equity in police reform. So it is something that we have already agreed on, and we are meeting all of the students from all the student leaders from all of 9 campuses. We will be participating, and that's it. We are trying to be engaged, and we are trying to participate with all of our energy that we have, so our voices can be heard. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can you send the board an invitation to your town hall on student basic needs? I think, if we can pop in one at a time, we'd love to pop in. We may have some resources that we can share. And so if you could send us the invitation, that would be great.
Sure. Yeah, I'll be happy to send it to you.
And that's November 20th? Is that when you're doing that?
November 20th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Chancellor, you're in this category now of reporting out on committee meetings. Can you report out on the Advisory Committee on Black and African American Student Affairs? I was there with you on October 28th, but would you please share your report?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I'm happy to serve as chair of this advisory committee, and we met last week on October the 28th. And we certainly appreciated having you come by and Trustee David Vela to come by to welcome the group and participate in some of our conversations. At this meeting, which was attended by well over 80 people, including the formal 36, the 40 formal members of the advisory committee. It is a public meeting. We approved the charge of the committee, which first and foremost is set up to provide, to draw the expertise and advice and guidance from the members of this advisory committee related to the issues, interests, and affairs of African Americans and Black students and throughout LACCD. We are also charged to identify best practices, ways that we can improve the climate and involvement of all of our faculty, staff, and students towards the improvement and reducing the equity gaps that exist with our students. And clearly this charge also includes providing a forum to discuss issues of the day and issues that are of importance to the African American community as we all work to advance the district's framework for racial equity and social justice. At this meeting itself, we also always give room for students to round us with their voices and their lived experience. So that was always very powerful and insightful to hear them. We heard a presentation from Gabriel Selassie, a professor of African American Studies and History at LA City College. Fascinating presentation on Allison Davis and the intelligence quotient examination. It was really some of the elements and precursor to the eugenics movement that took place in this country 100 plus or so years ago. And they really focused in on some model programs. LA Valley College's program there, the Black Scholars Program, the program at Southwest College, Umoja, that was also highlighted. And of course, we looked at some of the good work through the equity movement and equity agenda, if you will, that is occurring at LA City College. So again, we highlighted those programs and really extracted. It really is becoming a real powerful learning community as well, as we have so many experts with us around that table. Next month, we'll focus in on highlighting the Umoja programs at LA Harbor College and the Umoja program at LA Pierce. We meet again on November the 30th from 2 to 4 p.m. And we certainly invite you all to attend with us. So again, my thanks to all the members of the committee and the tremendous amount of resources, technical and support staff that sit with us and discuss these issues of importance. We'll begin our work now, moving more into subcommittees and to really drilling down areas of interest and expertise, and then forwarding recommendations to the board and to this office to advance our agenda to support the environment for our African American faculty, staff, and our students. So it was a good meeting, Madam President.
Great, thank you, Chancellor. Yes?
I'd like to, first of all, thank you, Chancellor, for leading just such a dynamic committee. I just want to, reiterate the importance of this committee to the whole board. And, we will be reporting out as, every board meeting and consistently, and also act expeditiously with all of the requests. And I just want to thank all of my colleagues on the board for not only participating, but for really showing the Los Angeles Community College District community that we mean business. We're taking this very serious. And so I look forward for all of the recommendations for us to implement. And I want to thank you, President Hoffman, for your leadership in putting this together at record time. And in particular, it's such a really important time. And I want to thank our students also for being there and support our faculty and all of our staff. So thank you all. Really appreciate it. President Hoffman, I'd like to move J1, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure. Is that a motion to approve the resolution J1?
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay, great. I have a motion and a second for J1. Thank you. I actually have some comments, and I think maybe some of my colleagues have comments as well. And I wrote them down because this is something that's very personal for me. And I want to just talk a little bit about the war that's happening right now in Armenia and Artsakh, where Azerbaijani forces continue to shell civilian areas, and they have violated 3 ceasefires. You know, it's really important for us, I think, as an educational institution and as a governing board, to speak out about this. And the dogs, not just because we have Armenian students and Armenian faculty and Armenian staff in our community college family, but because it's the right thing to do. You know, we had to make a decision, about a week ago, to terminate a contract because we found out that the organization was doing business with the government of Turkey. And, you know, as a Jewish person, I know all too well the fear that our students and their families live with. It's that fear of surviving, you know, for my grandparents, the pogroms and the Holocaust. And watching this happen in Armenia for me as an educator and as someone who works not only in the LA Community College District as, you know, a policymaker, but at Glendale College, where I have daily interactions with students and faculty and staff who are Armenian, who have family back in Armenia. It awakens these emotions of fear and anxiety. And we need to stand up and come out strong. And we can't tolerate these injustices any longer. And so I know that all of my colleagues feel the same way, and that's why we're putting forward this resolution today. And I thank you for letting me sort of speak on a personal level. Never, ever again. So thank you. And I welcome all my colleagues to chime in and say a few words if you're so inclined.
I'll say a few words, President Hoffman. First of all, I just want to thank the leadership of the board. You know, we were pressed with not only people being massacred in these countries, but you know, we also took action. We went ahead and canceled, or at least sent a notice to move the process to dismiss Mercury Public Affairs, who at that time had Turkey and Azerbaijan as clients, and we succeeded. And I want to thank Mercury for letting go of this client that, you know, showed the respect to, you know, people that have been, you know, pushed in and out of their land for thousands, you know, at least 2,000 years. So, you know, we want to really recognize the urgency of this. And I want to thank Vice President Veres as well for ensuring that this had occurred. And, you know, I'm just really proud of our students. I want to tell you, I attended 2 solidarity events, you know, held by our students, where we were updated on the current status in Armenia, and as well as, you know, putting all of the different community stakeholders in support and solidarity. So I want to thank, in particular, our Armenian American students, and also Valley College. I want to thank President Grivens for allowing that platform. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. I don't see any other hands up. Can we have roll call, please, Lupe?
Student Trustee Geronimo's advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Wilna.
Yes.
Trustee Fong.
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman.
Yes.
Trustee Moreno.
Yes.
Trustee Svanken. Trustee Svanken. Absent. Trustee Vela.
Yes.
Trustee Veres.
Yes.
And Trustee Geronimo's advisory vote.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Thank you, colleagues. We are now on Resolution 3, District Classified Retirement. Can I have a motion? Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please, Lupe?
Trustee Wilna.
Yes.
Trustee Fong.
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman.
Yes.
Trustee Moreno.
Yes.
Trustee Svanken. Absent. Trustee Vela.
Yes.
Trustee Veres.
Yes.
Great. We are now on K. Mr. Chancellor, we are going to turn to you for your report.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of the board, colleagues throughout the district, and those listening in. I'm happy to provide the Chancellor's report for November. I have three parts to this report. The first will be an update and presentation by the Personnel Commission. The second, I will, as I've done on a monthly basis, give a quick update on where we're at with our COVID and COVID responsiveness and have a special presentation associated with that. And I'll conclude my report with an update on our framework for racial equity and social justice progress. So with that, those three items, let me first ask Mr. Ron Delahousse, who is the director of the Personnel Commission, to join us. And let me pass the floor to him. Ron, welcome. We're very happy that you are here presenting this annual report on behalf of the Personnel Commission. Welcome, Ron.
Thank you, Chancellor, President Hoffman, trustees, students, staff, stakeholders, and members of the public for this opportunity to present to you the 2019-2020 annual report of the Personnel Commission. As the Chancellor indicated, my name is Ron Delahousse. I am the director of the Personnel Commission. I'm going to start, so we can just let's leave the slide here for now. Yeah, right there is fine. I'm going to start by sharing with you a brief overview about the Personnel Commission before we get into the slides. The Personnel Commission is charged with the very critical responsibility of developing, maintaining, and advancing a merit system for classified employees of the district, as well as fostering the advancement of a career service for these employees. The merit system itself is a personnel system that provides for the selection, retention, and promotion of classified employees on the basis of individual merit and fitness demonstrated by competitive examination and performance. The following are examples of some of the critical responsibilities that the Personnel Commission has. The consistent use of objective information to support decisions related to the appropriate job classification and compensation. Audit of assignments to ensure that employment decisions are transacted in accordance with policies and procedures. Advocacy and protection of rights for non-represented employees. An independent body to which can hear employee disciplinary appeals and conduct investigations in an impartial manner. And also, employees and public alike are assured that their interests through the general accepted principles of merit are being upheld and protected by the Personnel Commission. Lastly, the Personnel Commission rules are the foundation for not only how the Personnel Commission conducts business, but also serve to define the rights, benefits, and responsibilities of classified employees serving in management, unrepresented and unclaimed job classifications. For classified employees in claimed classifications, the PC rules also serve as the basis for employment transactions that fall outside the scope of representation for the topics where the contracts are silent. With that, we will quickly go through the pages of the report, and starting with the page that we're on. As you can see, these are our three commissioners. David Iwata is our chair. He has been a member for almost 20 years, starting back in December of 2001. He's been an incredible leader and just a real bastion of knowledge and understanding, and has helped me along quite well since I just started in April, and I've been sitting in quarantine ever since. Henry Jones, he is our vice chair. He has been with us since 2007. And I am very pleased to announce that Diva Sanchez Trevino, who joined us in May of this year, is an incredible resource and has added a great deal of insight to the decision-making process and the workings of the Personnel Commission with her presence. Moving right along, this is our simple org chart. It demonstrates the responsibilities as outlined throughout our relatively small department. There are 15 positions, including my own, but we can move on unless there are questions later about the org chart. Meetings, Personnel Commission meetings are held every other week on average, and absent the quarantine are held not only at the ESC, but also rotate at each of the college campuses, where presidents are invited to give input about specific concerns that they have to commissioners on those dates that we attend there, that were present at their schools. I have not personally had the privilege of doing that as a result of the quarantine. It's like I said, I've just started, so I'm catching up. Next slide, please. as you can see, over the last 3 years, we've had a budget that has experienced a small increase. This year, however, which it's not showing, there was a minor decline, which is considered consistent with some of the budget concerns, but this page reflects our budget. We can continue. I'm going to go through this one and spend a little bit more time because I think it's important and there may be questions later. This is a listing of the major projects and accomplishments of the Personnel Commission during the 1920 year. Classification and compensation activities included a very comprehensive study of IT job classifications in the area of college information services, technology, and project management, which we are still making adjustments to those. We had some that were on the agenda for the upcoming agenda and were on the previous agenda of the Personnel Commission. So we are working very closely with Carmen Lids in making some changes there that will help the district move more smoothly in the area of IT. We had a comprehensive study of compliance-related job classifications. We had a comprehensive study of employee and labor relations-related job classifications, comprehensive study of admissions and records evaluation technicians, salary research and analysis in support of 2019 classified bargaining contract negotiations. So we contribute in those areas as well. Some of our recruitment highlights have included the Vice Chancellor, Chief Information Officer, Vice Chancellor in Finance and Budget and Services, the Chief Facilities Executive, who's currently referred to as the Vice Chancellor and Chief Facilities Executive. That occurred in this current year. Director of Facilities Planning and Development, my own position, Personnel Director, Deputy Chief Information Officer, Vice President, Administrative Services, Director of College Facilities, Regional Manager, College Technology Services. And then we had quite a few rules and policy activities, which included a update to 40% of all classified commission rules. It's quite a bit. And then the creation and retention of recruitment differentials. There has been quite a bit of participation in regard to what we're going to do and have done with regard to COVID-19 and the whole crisis management there. And there have been publications of monthly, and this has been ongoing for quite a few years, but I'm very excited about it, our monthly employee and supervisor management informative bulletins. They're very helpful and we've do help to limit the amount of confusion out there that might exist around the work, surrounding the work that we do. We can go on to the next page. Oh, there it is. Okay. So in our classification and compensation area, there are numbers that explain what we have done, but basically it's the job classification plan and process, which are the foundation upon which many critical human resources functions are built, including organization of work, compensation, promotion, performance evaluation, and training. The job classification system is also intended to address the intrinsic values of fairness, equality, and consistent treatment of employees in the employment environment. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I wanted to give that brief kind of first paragraph introduction and give an idea of some of the things that we're working on here and the numbers as they reflect. And you will notice that sometimes there are a little bit of a spike or decline, but that may often be based upon budgets and grants and different things that come along that encourage or discourage certain recruitments. We can move along. Here is another slide, and I like to get into some of the statistical references because they help give us an idea of where we are going, what we have done, particularly in this time when we're being a lot more conscious of diversity. And this one gives a bit more of an example of where we are with regard to recruitment and testing and the diverse populations that we have seen. There's also information about the type and numbers of applicants received, but that's really based upon market circumstances and our ongoing recruitment activities. The demographics, I think, or the ethnics, as well as the gender circumstances are very critical in my view. I'd like to see us do better where underrepresented groups aren't as well represented in our recruitment efforts. We can go to the next slide. Some of our classified hiring activities are illustrated here by college. We have over 2,000 classified employees, and you can see them here clearly strewn out across the different campuses. But that's really what this slide is about. There's not much more to say on it unless there are later some questions. We can move on. These are our hiring activities based upon the different types of roles that exist by occupational nature. And I think that it's clear that within the student services support segment, we have had quite a bit of a spike there this past year for the student services support. And the reason for that was that we did receive a student services support grant that year that resulted in colleges doing quite a bit of recruitment based upon that additional money. We can move on to the next. Here's some more recruitment and hiring by ethnicity data that I wanted to make sure was included, because it does give some indicator about where we are relative to the percentages within Los Angeles County. So you can see with the blue heading, there's ethnicity, LA County, applicants and hires. And based upon the columns, we seem to be doing relatively well overall when it comes to reflecting what exists in terms of ethnic diversity within the County of Los Angeles. We can continue. Personnel Commission did quite a bit of work last year, as I indicated earlier in the presentation, with regard to making some revisions to PC rules. We had 34 of them, which outranked the previous 2 years combined. We did a very comprehensive effort, as I said, with about 40% of the rules being modified in some way, or at least reviewed, and had some small adjustments made. Mostly this is based upon revisions to Ed Code, but we need to go through and constantly check for those updates. Then there's the assignment audit. We took a look at quite a few assignments that needed some adjustment, and we can see them over the course of several years. You will also note that there was a significant fallout, reduction when you look at the total number of transactions. It was 7,400 in 2017-18, 6,700 in 2018-19, which is a relatively small difference, but then it dramatically fell to 4,100, which is a direct result of the COVID pandemic, and where we needed to make some changes and regroup. And so we are coming back from that, and I've noticed an increase just since April when I started in the amount of these that are going on now. But we are reporting out as of June 30th of last year on this presentation. Then there are the disciplinary hearings. In the last few years, we've had very few, but they are essential to making sure that people have the opportunity to go through the due process of having an appeal scenario in the classified service where they can have their concerns heard and an outcome be reached. And so you can see the differences there, where dismissals, suspensions, and ultimately the general outcome of a hearing exists. Final slide. Again, this kind of summarizes at a glance some of the work we have done based upon classification, classified staff at colleges, classification by ethnicity and gender, and then staff by unit representation. So we've been very busy, and I expect us to get a little busier in the coming months with some of the changes that are projected to occur within the district. With that, I want to conclude my presentation, and thank you again all for bearing with me as I went through that rather lengthy but brief annual report of the Personnel Commission.
Thank you so much. That was a great presentation. I think there are some hands up, so people, my colleagues, and I know the Chancellor had a question.
Oh, absolutely.
And thank you, Mr. Delahousse. We're really happy to have you on board. Chancellor, did you, your hand was raised early, so I didn't know if you wanted to make a comment.
No, go ahead, please. The board members first.
Okay. Do I have any board members that have questions? I see your hand up, Mr. Svanken.
Yeah, I just want to, two things. I just want to comment, you know, in all the years I've been on the board, this is a great presentation. it's really good to get some information that's helpful for sort of planning and that. And then I'd like, whether we can fix the votes I missed. I had some technical difficulties, but I just want to note for the record separately that I would have voted aye on the items I missed. So apologize, but I don't, for some reason I got kicked off.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I waited kind of quite a long time for people to make comments. So thank you for that, Mr.
Thank you.
Do I have any other board members that have questions for Mr. Delahousse?
I do, Madam President.
Okay, Trustee.
Thank you for the presentation. Actually, very positive, and sometimes we don't dialogue enough about the Personnel Commission and all the important work you do with us. The last time we had a dialogue with our past director, I'd raised the issue of self-evals and benchmarks and trying to get to the point where, as opposed to sort of just breaking down the stats here, to understand sort of like how effective are we at turning over a vacancy, like a critical vacancy area, and how quickly we can recruit, and what's the not just from a diversity standpoint, but just how are we functioning, how are we improving, and I guess the basic thing is can we benchmark ourselves to previous performance, and from a standpoint of being a well-oiled machine, year in and year out, what are some of the sort of key indicators that we can consider to put together, essentially a whether it's a self-eval or a self-assessment. But it's been a number of years since anything that sort of looks like a self-assessment's been done. But I think from the board perspective, it may just be having key indicators to manage and assess and watch how they go from year to year, as opposed to sort of the different kind of stats that are here on the table that are presented. And not that they're bad, it's just that we've never done that, and you're coming into it. And I want to sort of be 21st century here with how we measure ourselves and attempt to be a modern operation that operates quickly. And I'll say this from the standpoint, most of the concerns I've ever heard, it just takes a long time to get through the process, and sometimes people working out of class. I've seen a lot of those things go through a correction process now, but from a year in, year out confidence standpoint, to really understand what it would mean to be a well-run and sophisticated organization in the 21st century sort of standard.
I intend to improve what we're doing. So benchmarking against past performance is an excellent example of what it is I'm attempting to achieve. And I'm coming up to speed. I've got a lot of years with K-12 in the HR arena, so I've actually been on the side of being frustrated with the speed of LAUSD's Personnel Commission, which actually I come to understand has done a relatively good job given the scale of what they're doing. But I do notice where areas can be improved. So I thank you for your comments, and I will do my very best to speed things along.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Delahousse, I actually have a question. I think some of us were like very optimistically hopeful that Prop 16 would have passed so that we could be a little more intentional, when we hire and take race, ethnicity, and gender into consideration. How can you, through the Personnel Commission, be a little more intentional about diversity and gender in terms of, I guess you would have to look at places where we advertise and how our tests are designed and written. Is there any, are you making any headway with that, and what can the board do to help support that effort?
Well, that's an excellent question. And I am on the EEO committee, working with Brittany Grice and the rest of that team, attempting to come up with a method by which we could effectively still be fair in our testing process in terms of consistency, while still trying to achieve a more diverse set of circumstances in terms of outcome with regard to eligibility lists and who appears on them. I have spoken to a number of college presidents recently and heard with deep concern, not that we're doing anything wrong, but that what they would like to see, concern on my part. I do believe that diversity is a little bit more complex than simply taking a look at someone's ethnicity or even their gender necessarily, but rather where the opportunities exist to take a look at changes in terms of challenge when it comes to education. Oftentimes people of privilege will go to the big name schools, which we should still look at and recruit from, but we also need to make a very expressed effort to look at some of the schools that are fully accredited, but maybe people had to work and go to school. That might reflect a more diverse environment and quality of recruitment if we can take a look at those resources. And that's where I'm presently focusing my efforts. I myself went to community college, went to Cal State Northridge, then went on to get my master's degree at National University while working full time. And it turned out to be quite a successful route for me to go. But if I were in the private sector, I'm not so sure I would have done as well. So I think we need to take a closer look at what it is that working people who have had a challenge that they sought to overcome, may ultimately have an opportunity to succeed if we're looking in their neck of the woods.
Thank you so much for that answer. I had the honor and privilege of sitting in on one of your interviews. You went through a pretty lengthy process, and while I didn't have a vote, I was really impressed with sort of your mission and the goal that you have for LACCD and your past history. And so thank you so much, and I'm really looking forward to working with you for a long time to come. So thank you.
As am I. Thank you, President Hoffman.
Chancellor, did you have a question?
Yeah, just to close this up, there are no other board questions. I also wanted to add, in addition to this fine report that we'll make sure that all the board members receive, I also wanted to point out that Mr. De La Houssaye has also been a very valuable and important thought partner and collaborator to our cabinet. He sits on our cabinet and he's helped us to navigate COVID over the last several months. So has a seat at our table. He's been an incredible voice as we look to ensure that our faculty and staff and those who are governed under the Personnel Commission in particular, and HR as well, that they're afforded all the opportunities to be productive employees at our district. So thank you, Ron, for your leadership and for being with us as well. So we're off to a great start. He's one of the other exceptional COVID hires, in addition to Carmen Lids and Ruben Smith and the whole series of others that we've had people who have essentially joined our family and have been right into COVID. And they've, of course, because of their excellence, have responded incredibly well. So we look forward to continuing our collaboration and our partnership moving forward. So with that, Mr. De La Houssaye, thank you so much for your presentation this afternoon. Madam Chair, I'm going to move on to the next part of my presentation. This deals with the EOC update. So if I could have the EOC slides come up, and I'll go over this very briefly. And then I'd like to also make a quick recognition of some members who worked with us of this. So next slide, please. So this just gives you an update as to where we're at as of today. These are our statistics. We remain in a global pandemic, no surprise there. And we're very close to 8 months now of emergency operations since the district declared such in mid-March. As you recall, you see the national toll is well over 200,000 deaths and over 9 million positive cases that have been reported. The district total, thankfully, because of great diligence and also just safety precautions, we have less than 200 self-reported confirmed cases. And you see the county totals of well over 300,000 cases and sadly over 7,000 deaths. We do have some limited on-campus instruction. We have codified these with the category of essential instruction. So we thank our support staff, our faculty, our team, our custodians, and others who are on campus ensuring the health and safety of our students, although be it limited right now. And as we have shared with the board and our public already and our students, the winter and spring semester is going to look very much like our fall semester, in which we are engaged with remote learning and online education. If you look at the first responders, what we thought would be important, and I know that Ms. Hoffman and members of the board also joined me, and wanted to thank our LACCD first responders. And these are the well over 200 people, 240 to be precise, personnel that above and beyond, in addition to their jobs, are members of the District Emergency Operations Center, and the respective colleges incident command centers. Each of these persons have been trained under FEMA, under the incident command system protocols. And literally, if we put all the hours together since March, it's been thousands upon thousands of hours in which we've been able to pivot, respond, and do a whole variety of very important functions for the district. And let me give you a sense of what those are. First of all, look at this cool logo that was developed, I believe, by Alex Bruno for our first responders. It's Always Defend Education. That is our Latin logo, if you will, there. And I think that is fitting for this particular team. Now, they're engaged in all kinds of very important work, developing protocols, being the liaison with our public health department and other state agencies. They've helped to develop with our colleges our recovery plans, our policies, our proactive contact tracing, our ordering of PPE, guidelines for the use of college and district facilities, and clearly the framework for adjusting with our faculty partners to an online and remote learning environment. We've done, and continuing to just to give you a sense of what this team is doing, they have prepared all the safety messages. If you look at our website, you see everything posted there, very in an orderly fashion, very clear, very click and play, if you will. They provided all kinds of operation reviews and approvals for people who are asking to use our facilities. We're tracking and monitoring expenses for FEMA reimbursement. And then now we're preparing for a coordinated limited return to on-campus instruction for next year, if you will. And of course, they helped us transition for this fall as well. So again, just great work. So in recognition of that outstanding work by the 240 individuals, this certificate of recognition to our LACCD Emergency Operations Center team and those at the college campuses, we want to recognize them on behalf of the Board of Trustees, and just grateful recognition for a district of our size being able to move forward, and for answering the call of duty, the call of keeping our campuses safe, to ensure that we have continuous operations. We've only lost 4 days of instruction or so because of the great work of our faculty, staff, and the EOC team. So I'm very, very proud of that. So if we could roll credits now, and we can see the names of these fabulous individuals who have helped us. Thank you.
We need some music, Chancellor.
Well, okay. The names of all these individuals, again, that's just so important. Thank you all for going above and beyond the call of duty, for keeping us safe, for always keeping in mind the district thinking, working as a district. And here are the incident command centers, the people at the specific colleges who are doing excellent work on behalf of their respective colleges. So, Madam Chair, thank you for allowing us this opportunity. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees and myself, thank you to all the individuals who continue to provide just uncommon dedication and service to our colleges. So if you're ever wondering how it is that we're able to pivot such a very large organization with 9 colleges, that's why, because we have very talented staff who are dedicating every day work towards this particular cause. So again, thank you. Thank you on behalf of the Board of Trustees. So let me move now on to the last part of my presentation and Chancellor's report. And it's just a quick update on the framework and our progress on the framework for racial equity and social justice. You've heard earlier about our work with the African American Advisory Committee, and you heard Mr. De La Houssaye reference the EOC committee as well. And they are focused in on the action step related to hiring. And they're working with HR, working with our Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and a broader expanded team to look at our policy related to hiring and to, again, promote a more diverse workforce. With related to police reform, I wanted to announce, if you've not heard already, the district will be sponsoring, along with the AFT Faculty Guild, the Social Justice Committee, a forum on pursuing racial equity in police reform. It is on November the 12th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. It's a free and public forum. We'll be featuring Professor Rayshawn Ray from the University of Maryland, who will provide a conversation and discussion, and then leave time for some interaction with our community around police reform. You've also heard the DAS president, Dr. Echeverry, mention the ethnic studies task force that has been formed to discuss the feasibility of instituting an ethnic studies requirement in general education at LACCD. That work has begun. And then also with respect to educational programs, I'm pleased to announce that on November 13th at East Los Angeles College, Professor Angela Davis will be with us at 11 a.m. For a public forum sponsored by the East Los Angeles College. The campuses continue to review their equity plans and are looking at strengthening their Umoja programs, their Dream Resource Centers, their DSPS centers, and other locations. And as part of this work as well, I wanted to give a big shout out to the members of our DSPS community. Last week, they sponsored and hosted once again the 5th annual Disability Summit. Just an excellent forum and program. It is equity is a part of including the agenda includes our students with disabilities and others. So it's something that we're very, very proud of. And thank you to Adrian Gonzalez, to all the DSPS coordinators and counselors on our campuses that are doing just excellent work. So I wanted to announce that. Dr. Bolna mentioned the undocumented week of action and all the great work that is going on there. And also it's important that our equity agenda, and it's, I think, formulated through the resolution today to once again underscore our solidarity with the Armenian community. I'm so pleased that the board passed unanimously that resolution. We've sent out some commentary, some very, very clear statements about our solidarity with the Armenian community. So that will continue to move forward. As I conclude my report, let me give again a shout out to the student veterans who were with us today. Ruben, Genevieve, and Kirby are very proud of student veterans community that is there. It's also important to note that during this time of COVID, that we have continued our work. Michael Fuller and his team continue to raise funds for our organization, and I'm pleased to report that last week we received an anonymous contribution of $100,000 for to support our emergency grants for our district nursing students and our 7 schools of nursing. So thank you to that donor who continues to view this investment as an important one for community colleges. Also, I wanted to point out that we received a $10,000 check from City National Bank. Thank you, City National, for your generous contribution, again, to help our students succeed, move forward. We also received, the foundation received $35,500 from the State Foundation for COVID-19 nursing grants, again, to support the essential workers that will be working in the front lines. And as was mentioned, we did have a week of action last week. We associated a fundraising campaign, the combined with that week, and I'm happy to report that $20,000 was raised from the generous contributions from members from around LACCD and others who support our cause. Finally, I got this news today, and I'm very, very pleased that the California Association for Post-Secondary Education and Disability, known as CAPED, every year gives out an Administrator of the Year award. And today, just a few hours ago, we got the great news that our own Brittany Grice, our Director for the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, was indeed that Administrator of the Year throughout the state of California. So very, very pleased. Congratulations, Dr. Grice, on a very well-deserved award. And we salute you and thank you for your leadership and service, not just to your unit, but indeed to the entire district. So, Madam Chair, that concludes my report for today.
Thank you very much, Chancellor. And thank you, Dr. Grice, if you're...
Can I ask the Chancellor a question?
Yes, go ahead, Trustee Moreno.
Chancellor, in my understand, Angeles Davis is going to be speaking at East LA College.
Yes, sir.
Is that around Veterans Day?
It's the Friday after Veterans Day. It is on Friday, the 13th, 11 a.m.
Does anyone understand the history of that whole era?
Yes, sir. I believe they do.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Trustee Moreno. Thank you, Chancellor.
Mm-hmm.
We are now on our combined consent calendar, which is items M1 through Z2. These items include consent calendars for Human Resources, Personnel Commission, Academic Affairs and Student Services, Budget and Finance, Business and Facilities. But before we approve the combined consent calendar, I'd like to pull item M3 related to employment action for extension of contracts and step increases for college presidents and district executives. I need to make an oral presentation here. So Chancellor, should I go ahead and do that and then come back to the rest of the consent calendar?
Yes, we can take that one out of order. Then I would remind our colleagues, board members, that item E1 and Z1 have been pulled as well.
Okay. Okay, so pursuant to Government Code Section 54953C3, which is part of the Brown Act, we're required to make an oral summary of proposed action on salaries, salary schedules, or compensation paid in the form of fringe benefits for all executive level positions as defined in subdivision D of Government Code Section 3511.1 during the open meeting, which is in which final action is to be taken. In our case, we need to provide such a summary for positions such as the chancellor, the vice chancellor, all vice chancellors, and the college presidents. The agenda item now before us includes an action for the extension of employment contracts for college presidents Sahara Wan, Mary Gallagher, Barry Gribbins, James Limbaugh, Alexis Montevirgen, Monte Perez, as well as vice chancellors Albert J. Ramon and Ryan Corner through June of 2023, and college president Otto Lee through June 30th of 2022. In this action, we're also authorizing a one-step advancement for college president Mary Gallagher to step 5, effective July 1st, 2020. Dr. Gallagher will also be entitled to a $500 per month car allowance, which will be applied to the base salary, and will be entitled to the same health and welfare benefits as is received by other unrepresented classified administrators, including retiree health benefits. So I've made that statement. Now the item goes back into the consent calendar, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Are there any items on the consent calendar that any trustee needs additional information on before we vote on the entire consent calendar? Okay, seeing none, can I have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar, please?
A motion to approve.
Okay, moved by trustee Veras. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great. Second by trustee Fong. Roll call, please.
Ms. Hoffman?
Oh, yeah, I just saw your hand. Go ahead, trustee.
Yeah, so I don't have any issues with all of them. I just, in the middle of a pandemic and when we're not attending meetings regularly, I think that one thing that, and that many of our employees are hurting, their family members have lost their jobs. I just think, and I led the effort a number of years ago that took from like 5 times as much, I think, or maybe it was only 3 times as much, the car allowances. But the idea that we're paying car allowances to our highest paid employees in the middle of a pandemic when people are not traveling around the district, I just think the board and the administration should look at, where can we make agreed to cuts with people, foregoing things like that. We're all of our custodians are coming back to campus, and not every administrator is traveling all around the district, which is what the car allowances were for. So I just would encourage people to, the chancellor and others, to look at how we sort of share the sacrifice. I'm not going to vote no on any of the items, but the car allowance has always been something that I think is kind of a perk that very few districts do, and one that isn't really in the districts or the public's interest. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, can we have roll call, please?
Student trustee Geronimo's advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Boulna.
Yes.
Trustee Fong.
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman.
Yes.
Trustee Moreno.
Yes.
Trustee Swankin.
Yes.
Trustee Vela. Trustee Vela.
Yes.
Trustee Veras.
Yes.
Thank you. We're now on item AA, recommendations from the chancellor. This is a board rule amendment. Chancellor, can you explain and present item AA1?
Yes, I think I'll ask for some assistance from our general counsel.
Okay.
But this is essentially a change to our annual meeting, board rule 2404. Since we've had the election now take place in November, instead of the spring, as was when we've had previous elections, we need to have corresponding a board rule. So this is the technical amendment that corresponds with our current election cycle. Mr. Prieto, did I miss anything significant?
No, Chancellor, you're absolutely right. The education code sets the time when the organizational meeting is to take place. And this is the second read for approval. So thank you,
Move
Chancellor.
approval.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Swankin. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Veras. Roll call.
Student trustee Geronimo's advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Boulna.
Yes.
Trustee Fong.
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman.
Yes.
Trustee Moreno.
Yes.
Trustee Swankin.
Yes.
Trustee Vela.
Yes.
Trustee Veras.
Yes.
Thank you. We now have item AA2, which is approve an agreement with PARS, the Public Agency Retirement Services, to implement a supplementary retirement plan known as a SERP. Chancellor, can you just say a few words about this?
Yes, thank you so much. We have put this matter in front of the board for your approval today. We did ask for a resolution that you approved back in August that would allow us to explore this potential supplemental retirement plan, and determined through the eligibility criteria that there were about 1,500 plus individuals who were eligible for this. The plan components require a particular age and 5 years of service to the district. And by meeting those qualifications, if the plan would be approved, each individual would receive 65% of the base salary pay over a variety of ways, from yearly to monthly payments as an annuitant, if you will. So we're coming back after that August. We have now given the opportunity, each of the members who are eligible received an individual customized package to consider. And then they had a deadline of a couple of weeks ago to turn that in. We've done some fiscal analysis of that, and we're recommending that we move forward with your authorization today with offering a CERP program for individuals who would retire on December 31st of this year or on June 30th of 2021. Again, we've done the fiscal analyses and are recommending your approval.
Thank you, Chancellor. I see that Mr. Swanken has his hand up.
Yeah, just Chancellor or whoever you want to hand it off to, or President Hoffman, whoever you want to hand it off to. Can we just, for the record, for those that are listening and for the future, go through the high level numbers about how many people are impacted or will be impacted, how much money the district will save? Can you just have somebody go through just the top level?
I can do that now. Counselor, is that permissible to go through the details?
Yes, Chancellor, you're not giving any names. You can provide the general information, Chancellor.
Okay. It was determined that we had 1,500 plus individuals who were eligible with the criteria that we had proposed. And we needed an amount of about 200, and we were projecting about 269 individuals to make this program move forward in particular classifications. The district received about 277 requests to participate in this. So because of that, we looked at who those individuals were and looked at the potential salary savings associated with the hiring back of about 70 to 80% of that, and determined that the district could save somewhere between 9.8 to about $10 million over a 5-year period. So it does provide some level of fiscal relief for the district at a time that we don't expect revenues to be showering in, and an opportunity to diversify our workforce in those positions, akin to the points that were made by Mr. De La Houssaye, and also to reorganize units depending on what their current needs are. So because of that, because of the numbers, the fiscal analyses, the potential salary savings, and the opportunity to hire back a more diverse workforce at all levels, we're recommending approval.
Thank you. I just want that in the record, Ms. Hoffman.
Okay. And thank you. And Chancellor, I know you'll be coming back to us, as soon as you know what the positions
are
and how it's going to affect our operations, and
yes,
have your assurances that some of those positions, especially if they're classified positions.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. We've not done the analyses on the operational side yet. We've done a fiscal analysis, and that's the next step I'll share with the board. Yes, and we have made exceptions, as we've done in the past, for essential positions that we hire right away, depending on the departure date.
Okay. Thank you so much. So I need a motion and a second on this. And Mr. Prieto, is this just is this a regular majority vote, or do we need a supermajority?
This is a regular majority vote, Madam President.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right. Moved by Trustee Veras. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great. Second by Trustee Vela. Roll
Before
call.
we take the poll, I just wanted to thank our employees in particular. I know we, have been through tough times, and people, stepped up. I'm really, really proud of all of the work that they've done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Buelna?
Yes.
Trustee Fong?
Yes.
Hoffman?
Yes.
Trustee Moreno?
Yes.
Trustee Swanken?
Yes.
Trustee Vela?
Yes.
Trustee Veras?
Yes.
Thank you. We now have business items BB1 through BB3. BB1 is ratifying foundation agreement at LA City College. BB2 BB2 is ratifying a donation to ELAC, and BB3 is authorizing a memorandum of understanding at the Educational Services Center at no. Do any board members need more information on any of these items? Otherwise, we'll take them all together. Great. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Trustee Veras. Roll call, please.
Student Trustee Giralmo's advisory vote?
Yes.
Trustee Boulna?
Yes.
Trustee Fong?
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman?
Yes.
Trustee Moreno?
Yes.
Trustee Swankin?
Yes.
Trustee Vela?
Yes.
Trustee Vettis?
Yes.
Great. We're now on CC, the facilities items, CC1 through CC16. Were any of those CC items pulled, Chancellor?
No, madam.
Okay.
E1 and Z1.
Great. Okay, thank you.
But there was a change to the dollar amount.
Oh, that's
on
what it was.
CC 13.
Thank
The
you.
correct dollar amount should be 430,450. Thank you for that reminder.
Yeah, thank you. I knew there was something. Colleagues, is there anybody who needs more information on any of these items? Okay, can I have oh, I see Mr. Swankin, you raised your hand.
Yeah, so I'm having some computer troubles, but is the MATOC on this? Or did we already, I don't remember the number of the MATOC item. I apologize. It is a facilities item.
Mr. Swankin, what related to the MATOC item?
Extending the MATOC for 6 months.
Dr. Smith, can you help out here? If you don't, let's just pause a second here.
CC 16.
Thank you. So it is on the item. It is CC 16. There it is.
Thank you so much. I just want to note for the record that during the time that we went to the MATOC and ever since, it has allowed the district to hire more small, women-owned, veteran-owned firms than any other structure that we've had. It has allowed small firms, local firms to do business with the district. I think this is a great recommendation to continue it for 6 months. I do hope that the board will continue to make it a priority to help small firms, local, emerging, women-owned firms, LGBT firms, you name it. Even though I don't know if the proposition is going to pass for repealing what was, I guess, 209. But even if it doesn't, I think we as a board and a district should do everything we can to give opportunity to those that have been shut out. And so I just want to congratulate Dr. Smith and everybody that came to the committee that recommended this. I hope we can extend it longer, because before this was done, there was a terrible scandal that include misuse of funds, inappropriate, awarding of contracts. And this system has worked for the district. We've had no major issues. And so I just want to congratulate everybody that recommended this, that worked on this. And I hope that it's not going to be just for 6 months, because these firms drive our economy. And with the pandemic, small firms are hurt more than large firms, because large firms have the ability often to get capital and do things that small firms can't. So I just want to urge everybody to support this, and that hopefully we won't change to a system like existed, anything near what existed when none of the current board members were there. But it happened just before a couple of us were elected 10 years ago. There was a gross misuse of district funds that the public, and law enforcement, or not law enforcement, but regulatory agencies were concerned. There were all kinds of potential issues around the misuse of funds under other models. And the MATOC has kept us from having problems. So I just wanted to congratulate those that recommended extending it.
Thank you. Trustee Veras.
Yeah, thank you, Trustee Hoffman. You know, there was a number of comments that Mr. Schwanken made that are not completely reflective and accurate of the conversation that's taken place around the MATOC issues. I do want to indicate for the record that it hasn't been a perfect scenario. Lots depends on certainly who is running and managing it, and all compliments to Dr. Smith and the way he's approached this and done it. But I do also want to acknowledge the fact that the Chancellor has included the bond monitor in this conversation to understand a number of the comments that are not necessarily based in fact, but are clearly opinion. And we want to make sure that as we approach things, they're done with the highest level of integrity. And sometimes, you know, we've had to deal with the fact that internally under Dr. Smith's command, we don't always have the bodies and the robust facility department. We don't even actually have something on the scale and level of LAUSD or sister agency across the way that is one of the few other ones that runs MATOC the way that we do. They just have a lot more. This is about the owner playing a very specific role in being able to control and manage the consultants that work for it. It is about, we do have a general philosophy to be inclusive and to allow people to participate. But in the end, ultimately, it's taxpayer dollars, and it's about making sure that we have command and control on behalf of the taxpayers to ensure that there's a good product delivered. But in the next 6 months, this is also a conversation with feedback from the bond monitor to be able to provide us and provide our team appropriate feedback of what the future of any kind of management. And there are a number, and we're only choosing one. And it's one that's not necessarily used broadly and widely, but it is just one. But there are a number of construction management protocols and structures that exist that the district can utilize. So, you know, this isn't about one system being corrupt and the other system being perfect. It is all about the way the owner approaches it and manages it. And we've been doing a better job with our current team and our current direction. So I wanted to note that for the record.
Thank you. So now can we take the vote?
So moved.
Great. I think we already had a motion and a second.
Yes.
Lupe.
Yes, we didn't get a motion. We didn't get it.
Oh, we didn't? Okay, moved by Trustee Vella. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Second by Trustee Fong.
Trustee Fong, sorry. Student Trustee Geronimo's advisory vote?
Yes.
Trustee Boulna?
Yes.
Trustee Fong?
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman?
Yes.
Trustee Moreno?
Yes.
Trustee Swanken?
Yes.
Trustee Vella?
Yes.
Trustee Vettis?
Yes.
Great, thank you. That passes. We now have item DD, and this item requires a supermajority vote. So Mr. Pareto, so we don't have any confusion, can you please explain how many votes this actually needs?
Yes, Madam President, it requires 5 votes.
Okay.
Right. And because we're using resources, excuse me, Madam Chair, from the district contingency reserve, we did have that in our board policy that requires a supermajority. In this case, expenses related to COVID-19, and it's to purchase academic software for our faculty to assist in our remote learning and online education. So we're asking for a support of an increase in Dr. Corner's budget by $1,300,000.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Veras. Is there any discussion or does anybody have questions?
I have a question. What is the $1 million for?
It's for software. You know, many of our courses had to be transitioned from on-ground, face-to-face to online and through remote learning. So this is to buy software and all the supports that are.
Wouldn't that have been a college expenditure?
Well, The colleges weren't necessarily prepared for all of this, so we're buying things at the district to assist the colleges and buying, biology kits at scale and chemistry activities at scale, so that we can help out and relieve some of the college budgets.
Yeah, but I was thinking that would be a local requirement, not all size. It wouldn't be a district thing fits all size.
Right. Mr. Moreno, under normal circumstances, you're 100% correct. We find ourselves in a very unusual circumstance of again, pivoting and transitioning, in particular if we are in this environment for a longer period of time, which is very possible. So under normal circumstances, you're correct. But and we will be requesting FEMA reimbursement for this as well.
Well, okay.
Mr. Swankin?
Thank you. The Chancellor sort of addressed it. Chancellor, we did get money in the first round. I don't know, first or second round. And have all of those funds been expended? And do we know if this is it sounds like a permissible expense? And if we do, I want to just make sure we restore the reserve, because that reserve is going to protect people's jobs should things not turn out the way we want in Washington and not get any more stimulus dollars.
Right.
That at some point the state was their budget was dependent upon the feds backfilling money in order to fund us. And so, no matter how many people want to question or criticize that our reserve, that reserve is there to help protect, help our students, protect jobs, protect classes, keep people safe. Do we know if all of the money we have has been spent, and if this is a permissible use? Should we either from the money we already have, and will it be backfilled if we get new money and are able to charge it off to, as you said, FEMA?
Okay. Well, first, the CARES Act fund that came through has been one time. We received over $40 million for that. 75% of those funds have been earmarked for students, direct student aid to students. The other 25% has already been identified for other kinds of expenses. One of the federal requirements that we did not supplant money that was already in our budget. It was for new expenses related to COVID. So we did not earmark this amount of money for this particular expense from that CARES Act. So that's why we're asking to use our contingency reserve, which is precisely what it is intended to use. You're quite correct that our budget, our community college budgets are contingent upon receiving additional state aid. And indeed, in last year's budget approved by Governor Newsom, we did get some aid for our district expenses. We're now well over $20 million of unexpected expenses related to COVID. A good part of that is around half of that is technology, and other parts of that are around buying those computers and other technology tools that our students now need for their connectivity and to address the immense digital divide that exists amongst our students. So yes, so it's all being earmarked. We're continuing to advocate for additional federal aid, additional state aid, so that we can keep up with the growing cost of responding to COVID.
But Chancellor, would this be considered aid to students? I mean, are these things for our students, and could we use some of the money to make their lives easier to do these you said labs essentially, right?
These are essentially software purchases and tools and equipment, and for our faculty and our staff who support the faculty. So this is not for direct aid to students. It's for the infrastructure.
Okay.
Materials as faculty.
Thank you, Chancellor. All right, we have a motion and a second. Can we have roll call?
Hoffman, I couldn't. Who was the maker? I couldn't figure that one out.
It was Mr. Vela.
Great, thank you. Okay, student trustee Geronimo's advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Buelna.
Yes.
Trustee Fong.
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman.
Yes.
Trustee Moreno.
Yes.
Trustee Spankin,
Yes.
Trustee Vella,
Yes.
Trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much, colleagues. And I'm sure this means a lot to our student trustee as well. So thank you. We are now at item EE, announcements, an indication of future or proposed actions by members of the Board of Trustees. Board members, are there any announcements anybody would like to make at this time? Okay. Seeing none, we are on public comment. Are there any persons signed up to address the board on non-agenda item matters?
Yes, we have two individuals. Michael Griggs provided his statement, and let me see if I can see him so that he knows that we're doing this right now.
Okay.
Michael, if you could raise your hand so that I know that you're here. Okay,
Hi, Lupe, I do see his email. There he is.
Perfect. Okay, good, he's here.
And he's raising his hand. He is raising his hand.
Perfect. Then I just wanted him to know that I will read his statement into the record. Okay. Good afternoon, Chancellor Rodriguez, board members and fellow attendees. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for your tireless work during this challenging and historic time for the human race as we are approaching the holiday season. And we are awaiting what the future holds. I am hopeful because I know that all of you are members of my family because of good, bad, or indifference. That is what LACCD represents, family. Before the board, on today's agenda, there was a request from the Personnel Commission to ratify the reclassification of an employee's position from restricted to unrestricted. I, Michael Jordan Griggs, whose that request was made on behalf of. And I would like to take a moment to thank everyone in the Los Angeles Mission College for allowing me to work side by side with them. I witness every day the wonderful things that can be accomplished simply because someone believes in you. As I continue to work for Los Angeles Mission College in the Student Services Department, my goal is to empower everyone I comes in contact with me, that your life does not stop when you get knocked down. It begins when you get up, and that is the biggest lesson I have learned from life, but also when I became a part of the LACCD family 12 years ago. Thank you for your time and happy holidays. Michael Griggs.
Thank you, Mr. Griggs, and happy holidays to you too. And we sure are very lucky to have you, and so is the Mission College family. So thank you for making public comment this evening. That means a lot.
And our 2013-14 student trustee.
Wow.
Yay.
Yeah.
And we have one other speaker. Let me see if I see her hand raised.
Doesn't seem to be in the room, Lupe.
Okay, so then that's it.
Okay, well, I am going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Madam Chairman, you can actually do your readout of closed session at this particular time because you have a majority.
Oh, great. Okay, I will do that.
I'm assuming we're not having a second closed session. That's why you can do such.
No, ma'am, we're done.
Thank you so much. The board will, hold on. We had closed session earlier today, and pursuant to the Brown Act, there was nothing to report out on. So thank you, and this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So ordered.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, everybody.
Stay safe, everyone.